People have a lot of strange views on doctors. Not everybody, but enough. And enough recently that I thought I needed to make a video. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Mike. I'm an internal medicine physician here in Nashville, and I've been getting some weird comments about what people think about doctors. I don't know if it's my general disposition that allows people to cut off their own filter when they talk to me. I don't know if it's the safety of my clinic office. Who knows? But I've heard some pretty weird stuff over the last month, and I wanted to share with you my top 5 misconceptions that people tend to have about physicians. Without further ado, let's jump right into number 1, the assumption that all physicians are super intelligent. Weird to hear that as a misconception, right? Don't get me wrong, it certainly helps to be smart, getting good grades in undergrad, getting a good MCAT score, being lucky enough to get into medical school, getting through it, getting into a residency training program, getting through that, maybe doing a fellowship and then becoming an attending. Yeah, it helps to be smart. But that's not the only thing that you have to do. You also have to work really hard. And here's the kicker. I don't know how many physicians are that up to date on the beauty of British literature. Seems like a left turn. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb, it's gonna think it's stupid its whole life. Sometimes that works with physicians too. Not every physician knows everything about everything. In fact, a lot of physicians don't know anything about literally anything else. All they know is medicine, which is a good thing to know, but that might be all that they do know. Like I said, sure, it helps a lot to be super smart, but what's more important is the work ethic. There are plenty of people who never did well the first time through college, or their first half of college, or had to take the MCAT a couple different times, or had to apply to medical school a couple different times. What's more important is the work ethic. Hard work will beat talent when talent does not work hard. That's a thing. The same thing for being a physician. To get through all the training you have to go through to become a physician, it certainly helps to be very smart. But I think hard work and a good work ethic and a good consistent work ethic is actually more important. The second misconception I hear all the time is that all physicians loathe Eastern and/or alternative medicine. Swing and a miss. We tend not to love medicine that isn't evidence-based. Studies are good. We like studies. Additionally, we like whatever intervention a patient undergoes to be controlled. Some of the problems that I personally have with taking supplements is often those supplements are not regulated, and we don't know exactly how much of what thing is in each one of those supplements. That's when it gets dangerous. If you don't know how much of something you're consuming, you can't tell me that it's not a lethal or just barely sublethal dose. Lethal, bad. That's where my main concern comes in. There are lots of ways to control symptoms of disease without taking a pill. Just because a distinction has been made between Eastern and Western medicine doesn't mean that one is better than the other. They have a complementary relationship. Sometimes you can't beat whatever it is you have with Eastern medicine and you need Western medicine. Sometimes whatever you have, if you've chosen an Eastern route to go and that works for you, cool. If there's not something that I need to worry about, well, I'm fine with it. I'm sure there are some people that say, no, Western medicine is the only way to go. Eastern medicine is phooey. Phooey, God, how old am I? Eastern and Western medicine can be complementary. One is not necessarily better than the other. You gotta take each patient based on what that patient happens to need. Sometimes it's one, sometimes the other. Often it's both. The third misconception that I want to talk about, and God, I don't know how many times I've gotten this, it's that we're all in bed with pharmaceutical companies. If it was true, I would live in a nicer house. Listen, if it was true, I would kind of go the opposite direction how I practice medicine. I tell all my patients, listen, my goal for you is to get you off those pills, if lifestyle modifications might help with that. If you have cancer and need to be on chemo, for example, please, cancer, chemo. If you're like me and a type 1 diabetic, diet and exercise is not going to fix that, please take insulin. But my goal is to get people off of medications with lifestyle modifications. Maybe tweaking the diet a little bit. Maybe exercising a bit more, maybe doing something different for exercising, maybe making sure you get enough sleep at night. Those sorts of things I would like to use to control disease. If I can't, or my patient is unwilling, yeah, sure, pills it is, I guess, because different things have different risk factors for lethal things. Again, lethal, bad. There are lots of medical legal layers you gotta get through to disclose a relationship with a pharmaceutical company. You have to talk to your employer with exactly what that relationship is, exactly how much money you're getting, for what purpose you're getting that money. There's a lot of different ways that people could get paid from pharmaceutical companies that have really no impact on how they take care of patients, or have no impact on how they prescribe medications. Maybe they're a consultant. There are plenty of ways for physicians to get money from pharmaceutical companies that is not actually bad. It's actually good. But long gone are the days where pharmaceutical reps come in, throw us a bunch of pills for samples and bring us lunch and coffee and say, hey, here's a stack of $10,000 and just take that and put it in your pocket. But remember me next time when you're prescribing pills. You know what? Maybe it happens. But it hasn't happened to me. The fourth one really kind of bothers me, both as a physician and as a patient. This one is the physician knows the answer and does not need the patient's input. No, that's wrong for a couple different reasons. One, if I have somebody who comes in with a 25-year history of a particular disease, and that person says, hey, I think this is going on with this disease, I'm going to pay very, very close attention. That person's been living with that disease longer than I've been studying it. The second reason is the patient-doctor relationship is a collaborative relationship. It's not a unilateral relationship. I need to talk to the patient needs to tell me what he or she thinks is going on, and then I can take that information and have another discussion with that patient. For example, I've noticed a lot of guys in their, later years-ish, who routinely complain of waking up at night, going to the bathroom. They think they have BPH because they wake up at night and go to the bathroom. Seems reasonable. But then you talk to them, and then you realize they're snoring a lot. They're always tired during the day. They wake up with headaches. They think it's because they wake up to pee all the time. And then you ask them, and they say their significant other says that they stop breathing at night. Explaining to the patient that they may be waking themselves up because they're not breathing and just decide, hey, I'm awake, I must have to pee. I have a handful of patients, I put on CPAP, and guess what? Now they sleep through the night. It's kind of a cool feeling when I get to see them 3 months later and they say, holy crap, you were right. Kicker is, I never would have been right unless I had that conversation. The fifth and final misconception that I will talk about today is remarkably close to my heart, and it is that all physicians are invincible. We are not. If you have been paying attention to the medical field over the course of the last 2 years, for example, you'll notice that there's a lot more talk about physician burnout. Before we go any further, I want to make sure that I'm not leaving out nurses, PAs, phlebotomists, respiratory therapists, PT, OT, the entire sphere of medicine, because there's a lot of us. I'm a physician. I feel most comfortable talking about physicians. There are plenty of other people who will talk about other aspects of medicine and burnout associated with them. But it's very easy to forget that physicians are also people. You see your physician in his or her office with the white coat on sometimes, in kind of the one place that they're an expert. What people tend to forget is that behind that white coat, behind that stethoscope, if you use one, is a person with a family, with hobbies, sometimes with life stressors, sometimes trying to potty train a puppy or a brand new baby, or just having their first grandchild, or whatever. Physicians are also people. For anybody, staff, administration, general public, patients, whomever, to treat physicians like not human, that's going to mean there's going to be fewer physicians later. You can't pour from an empty cup. So please remember that physicians are also human. We have the same faults that you all have. We have the same stressors that you all have. We have the same successes that you all have. We have the same failures that you all have. We're kind of the same people, different job. And we are certainly not invincible. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, consider subscribing. If there's something that I maybe missed, a preconceived notion that maybe you have about physicians, drop that down below. If you got surprised by anything I said, drop that down below too. And I will see you guys in the next video.